Hey scholars, today we're going to be looking at lesson 3. Ignore Wednesday because this is going to be math lesson 1 for week 14. This is for Mr. Cannon's blended class. If you are just watching this as another student, you don't have to worry about this part. Alright, our objective is I can count between 90 and 1,000. So this is our kid-friendly way of saying it. I can count between 90 and 1,000. And the actual state standard is objective, count up and down between 90 and 1,000 using ones, tens, and hundreds. I'm showing you with the place value blocks just because it might help some of you visual learners to see it that way. So the first thing we're going to do is look at a word problem of the day. So Kinnear decided that he would bike 100 miles this year. If he has biked 64 miles so far, how much further does he need to bike? So as always, before I do a word problem, I like to figure out what is important information. So Kinnear deciding that he would bike, while that's important for the story, isn't necessarily important for the lesson or to find the answer. But the fact he would bike 100 miles this year is very important. So we know the total is 100 miles. Now I'm going to give you about 15 seconds to figure out what else you think might be important for this problem. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the next one. He has biked 64 miles this year, or so far. All right, and then there's one more important thing. I'll give you about 10 seconds because some of you might have already have found this one. How much further does he have to bike? So we know he wants to bike 100 miles. He has 64 miles. And we want to know how much further. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this so we can go to another fresh page to do the work. So as you can see here, I just rewrote the question so we would still have that. And I'm going to put my quantity list over here. These are my quantities. So we know that he has biked 100 miles. That he wants to bike 100 miles. We know that he has already biked 64 miles. How much further do we need? So I'm going to show you 2 to 3 different ways. It depends if I can think of the third way right now, but I know 2 ways. So the first thing I do is a tape diagram. So let's go ahead and look. Oh, I'm going to make my pencil a little thicker so we can see the lines better. So I'm going to create a tape diagram. All right, so we know that the total is 100 miles. Now, if we look down here, we can make another tape diagram. And we're going to make it the same size because we want this to also be 100 miles. So how many miles has he biked so far? He has biked 64 miles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a 64 miles right here. Now, what number do I need to complete my tape diagram? Both of the top and the bottom both need to equal 100 miles. So we need to figure out what to put here. Well, there's a couple ways to do it. I'm going to do it the way that I learned when I became a teacher, which is decomposition with subtraction. So I have my 100 minus my 64. So what I want to do now is I'm going to break this up into a 4 and a 60. So now instead of 100 minus 64, which might be hard, let's look at 100 minus 60. So I have 10 tens minus 6 tens. How many tens do I have left? Count with your fingers. So I have 10 tens minus 6 tens. How many tens do I have left? I have 4 tens. What is 4 tens equal to? 40. But we can't forget about the other 4 we have to subtract. So we have 40 minus 4. If you know 40 minus 4 is 36, awesome. If not, you could do another decomposition problem where you put a 10 here and a 30 here, and then you subtract 10 from 4 using your fingers, which will give you 6. That'll make 30 plus 6, which is 36. I'm showing this to you because I want you to see math can be done a bunch of different ways. I'm happy that you are able to see all these different ways now because of our curriculum. So what number do we need here? We need 36 miles. There's also a cool method that I'm going to do now, which is called the arrow method. So the first one was a tape diagram. The second one is going to be an arrow method. A-R-R-O-W-M-E-T-H-O-D. Arrow method. So what we're going to do, instead of starting at 100, we're going to start at 64. And our goal is to get up to 100 however we can. So count by whatever number you're comfortable with. I'm going to say tens are really easy to count with, so I'm just going to count by tens. So I'm going to add a 10, which is 74. I'll add another 10, which is 84. I'll add another 10, which is 94. And then I'll add another 10, which is 104. Wait a minute. Wait, just one moment. I went too far, didn't I? I'm supposed to find 100 miles, not 104. Silly Mr. Cannon. Let's go ahead and erase that. Now what should we count by? Well, we can count by ones. Let's count by a 1. That gives us 95. Now, 5's a nice number. 95 is. Because now we just need to add a 5 and we get to 100. Now you're probably asking, Mr. Cannon, I just counted. How am I supposed to get the answer with this? Well, now what we do is we add up all the 10s together and the 5 and the 1. So we have a 10 plus a 10 plus a 10 plus a 1 plus a 5. What is 3 10s equal to? Here's 1 10, 2 10, 3 10s. 3 10s is equal to 30. And then what is 5 plus 1? Use your fingers if you need to. That will be 6. And 30 plus 6, as we said in the front, is 36 miles. Don't forget the miles because we need the units. Because I could be counting hamburgers for all you know, but we need the units. So you don't think I'm counting hamburgers. Oh, and then they did the arrow method this way too, except they counted by ones until they got to 70, and then they counted by tens until they got to 100. So they had 6 ones and 3 tens. See, look how cool that is. I did it one way, and they did it the other, and we got the same answer. Whichever one's more comfortable for you, you're more than welcome to do. All right, now we're going to count together. So, we're going to count 90 to 300. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with tens so I can get up to 100, which is my benchmark. A benchmark is a number such as 10, 100, or 1000, or anything that has a zero where you can start using another number to count. So for example, 50 is a benchmark if you're at 10, then 100 is the benchmark, and then you can count by hundreds, and then 1,000 would be a benchmark, and then you can start counting by thousands. So if I start at 90, I'm going to make my marker a little thinner for this. So if I start at 90, I can count by 10 to get to 100, and then I can start counting by hundreds, because look at that, we need to get to 300. So let's count by 100, that'll make 200, and let's count by another 100, which will make 300. All right, let's try 170 to 500. What should we count by first? I'll give you about 5 seconds to think about it. We're going to count by tens first, because look at, we're at 70, so we already have all our ones that counted for. So let's work on this 10. So plus 10, oh, that's way too thick. There we go, plus 10, that'll make 180, plus 10, that'll make 190, plus 10, that'll make 200. Oh, look at that, we can start counting by 100s now. Plus 100, that'll make 300, plus 100, that'll make 400, plus 100, that'll make 500. All right, now, if you're watching this in a class that is not Mr. Cannon's blended learning class, you can disregard this message, or you can try the problem, it's okay. I want everybody who is in my class to open up their notebooks, and under the category Week 14, Math Lesson 1, I want you to try this problem. $350 to $600. I want you to try this problem and do the best you can. All I ask for is effort. If it's wrong, we'll fix it. But don't do it just because you think you're going to be wrong. All right. So we're going to move on to the next part now. So we're going to show a way to count from 668 to 900 using ones, tens, and hundreds. I like the arrow method for this, and I try to think of it as a hierarchy system. Hierarchy is a big word that just means you do the first to the second to the third to the fourth conditions. So our first condition is going to be count by ones until we reach a 10. Our second condition is going to be count by tens until we reach a 100. And then our third condition is going to be count by hundreds until we reach our answer, or thousands. All right, so we have 668. What is our first condition? To count by ones until we reach a 10. So I'm going to count by a 1. That gives me 669. I'm going to count by another 1, which reaches 670. What do I need to do now? I need to start my second condition, which is counting by tens until we reach a 100. So I'm going to count by tens. This gives us 680. I'm going to count by 10, which gives us 690. And I'm going to count by 10, which gives us 700. Have we satisfied the second condition? Yes, we have. Now let's do our third condition. Count by hundreds until we reach our answer or thousands. And just a sidebar, this third condition is inaccurate if we have a number that isn't exactly 100. And the conditions can actually repeat, which I will show in another lesson. All right, so we're going to go up by hundreds until we reach our answer. So go up by 100 and go up by 100. Perfect. So we reach 900 by counting up using ones, tens, and hundreds. Draw, label, and box 428. So we're going to try this out. Now Mr. Can's going to be honest with you guys. This is not the most, he's not the most comfortable with this way, but that's okay because he's going to try. And trying is what matters. So we have a 428, which is boxed. And now we're going to go to 600. So what I want to do is give you a little key because it says to draw, label, and box. So I'm going to use kind of like little place value things, except they're going to be a little different. So my 1 is going to be a little skinny rectangle. My 10 is going to be a thicker rectangle, more like a square. And my 100 is going to be an even bigger rectangle. So so for 428 to 600, I need to start with my ones. So I'm going to try it a cool way, more like in your head kind of way. 428, I know that 8 is 2 away from 10, so instead of doing one ones block, I'm going to do 2 at the same time. Now, we're at 430. How many tens do I need to get to 500? I'll let you think about that for 10 seconds. I have 3 tens. How many more tens do I need to make a 100, which will get me to 500? I need 7. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to draw 7 tens. And this doesn't have to be super accurate. Actually, I think it would be better, we're always changing things because we know that we can always do stuff better. I'm going to draw the numbers in here, and then I'm going to draw the number it is down there. So we're at 500, and that is going to be 70 that we used. Now we're at 500. How many more do we need to get to 600? Well, if we have 500s, we need one more 100 to get to 600. All right, awesome. Okay. All right, so this one is 600 to 1,000. So I'm going to draw a box that is 600. This is 600s. How many more hundreds do I need to make 1,000? Well, let's look at it like this. 10 ones equal a 10. 10 tens equal 100. So 10 hundreds equals, if the pattern follows, it would equal 1,000. And the reason why it equals 1,000 is because we're in a base 10 system. So we need 4 more to make 1,000. All right, awesome. Let's see. All right, so we're going to do one more thing, which is draw a line to match the numbers with the units you might use to count them. Here's where I'm going to say, because the video is getting a little long, go ahead and pause it for as much time as you need and try to answer these questions on your own. I'm going to start giving the answers in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So we're drawing a line to match the number with the units you might use to count them. So we have 300 to 900. Well, condition 1 is count until you reach a 10. Condition 2 is count until you reach 100. And condition 3 is count until you reach your answer or 1,000. So we already satisfy condition 1 and 2, which means all we need are hundreds. 97 to 300. Condition 1, count by ones. We need to do that to get to 100. Now my question is, do we need to do condition 2? No, because we're already at 100. So condition 2 is satisfied without even having to use tens. Oops, I'm going to use a square this time. So we only need ones and hundreds for this one. Now 484, we need ones, that gets us to 490. We need tens, that gets us to 500. We need hundreds, which gets us to 1,000. I'm going to draw a trap. Oh, it didn't let me do it. I'm going to draw a trapezoid for this one. So we need all of them. How about this one, 743 to 800? We need condition 1 to get to 750, and we need condition 2 to get to 800. Do we need anything else? Nope. So we are good. And, as always, thank you, Miss Ho, for making these awesome PowerPoints. They help me out so much. And for the rest of you, have an awesome day. And for Mr. Cannon's class, see you either Monday or Tuesday. Have a good day.